Thank you, Christina. Get out the sermon note-taking sheet that's in your bulletin and follow along and take some notes. We're going to talk about grumpy old men today. Remember, I told you last week that Titus is a very practical book, and he says that the teaching of Crete was not working and making people happy. So he was going to tell people the truth, and he started with the truth to old men. Okay, now I know what you're thinking. What's an old man? Well, on the island of Crete and in the Greek culture, if you were in your 40s or older, you were an older man. Okay, but I want you to notice there are only two categories, older men and young men. So if you're not a young man, this sermon is for you. Okay? All right. I want to start by looking at what other people have said about old men. Okay? There's some really great sayings online addressed to old men and about old men. Eleanor Roosevelt starts off, here's what she says: beautiful young people are accidents of nature, but beautiful old people are works of art. Thank you very much. And the brush strokes are starting to show. Okay. Gabriel Garcia Marquez says this: a man knows when he's growing old because he begins to look like his father. What do you think, Dave? Yeah, we're looking like Dad. Okay. Oliver Wendell Holmes said this: the young man knows the rules, but the old man knows the exceptions. What do you think? Okay, this is anonymous, and I want some amens on this one. Okay. You know you're getting older when happy hour is a nap. I got laughs, I got no amens. Forget that drinking. Give me a nap. Okay. Another anonymous one. I love this. I have no idea who said this. The grammar isn't exactly the best, but it's okay. To be old and wise, you must first have to be young and stupid. Every wise old man was young and stupid, and hopefully learned from it. Okay, Francis Bacon said this: I will never be an old man. To me, old age is always 15 years older than I am. So let's see, that means I'm 68. I got, yeah, okay, that's old. Okay, and the best for last. I hope you can see this. This is anonymous on a baby outfit. Here's what it says: don't look at me, that smell is coming from Grandpa. I hate to say this, but I can relate to that. Okay, well, what I want to do first is Titus tells us why he has to say something to the older men in the first place. I mean, old men are supposed to be wise, aren't they? So why did he just say anything to the old people there on Crete? And so he's going to tell us why he needs to address old men in the first place, and why we old men need to listen. Because it'd be real easy for those of us who are older to say, well, I don't need to listen to this sermon. Well, Titus tells us why we need to, why he had to address the people in Crete. In chapter 2, verse 1, he addresses everyone on the Isle of Crete. And that includes the older men. Remember, he's going to list old men, old women. That's going to be fun, preaching to the old women next week, because none of you will think this applies to you, okay? And then we'll look at young women and young men. So Titus begins this section when he talks with everybody about the reason why everyone needs to listen, particularly today, while the old men need to listen. Here's what he said. You must teach. See what he's saying. You must teach what is in accord with sound doctrine. Paul and Timothy realized that in Crete there was a reason why everybody needed to listen, particularly while the older men need to listen. The reason why older men needed what Timothy was going to say was because they needed sound teaching. Remember what sound teaching means. Sound in the sense of medical practices being sound. They actually help you. They actually give you the life and the health that you want. And so Titus is saying old men need to listen to what he had to say because we need sound teaching. We need what works. And as we saw last week, the culture in Crete did not work. It was not sound. It was not healthy. It did not produce the happy life that everybody wants. Did not give people what they were looking for. Now, William Barclay, many, many years ago, wrote a great commentary, and he lists what the people on Crete were like. This is what they thought worked. This is what they thought brought them happiness. Okay, you ready for the list? Okay, the people on Crete had been taught to eat and drink too much. Happy hour was not a nap. Happy hour was eating and drinking and indulging. Also, there was no stigma to dishonest gain. They valued money so much that you could get it any way you wanted to, and that was okay. No stigma attached to dishonest gain. Thirdly, lying was totally acceptable, just like we saw last week. The whole Crete culture was based upon lies, and they were proud of it. So lying was totally acceptable. Number 4, not much has changed. The youth were disrespectful of older people and the wisdom that they had and what they needed in life. So the youth were totally disrespectful of the old. People were not trustworthy. They were untrustworthy. You give them a job to do, you couldn't plan on it being done. They were not trustworthy. And then the last one is they never took into consideration saving somebody who had a need, saving somebody in danger. In America, when we hear about somebody getting beat up and everybody just walks by, that was the way it was on Crete. Didn't even consider helping anybody in need. Well, you can see what a culture this is. In fact, the Greeks made up a verb. It's the verb kretizo. It means to lie and cheat. And it's based upon the Greek word for the island of Crete. The sad thing is that even the old men were like this. They were influenced by the culture in which they lived. And as a result, their lives are not happy. People around them were not happy. Young people were growing up without the wisdom and the influence that they needed to live a happy life. And so Titus had to say something to the older men. He had to say something to everybody because they needed it so badly. Okay, now secondly, I want us to look at what Titus had to teach, what he was supposed to say to the older men, so that their final years could be golden years, so that they could be happy, their families could be happy, and the world could be all that they needed to be. So let's read on to verse number 2. It's interesting that Titus takes just one verse to talk to the old men, but man, is it loaded with really practical stuff. Some of what Titus has to say is based upon how the culture was influencing the old men on Crete, and some of it was due just to the way old men are, simply because that's the way we are. So these two different groups he's going to look at. Here's what he says. Teach the older men to be temperate, worthy of respect, self-controlled, and sound in faith, in love, and in endurance. 4 things he talks about that old men really need to work on. Old men need to be these things. Okay, first of all, old men are to be influential. Now, where do I get that? Well, Titus is to start teaching the old men. Why? Because he's got a lot to say to everybody, but the old men need to have an influence. The old men need to help him convince the others to do what he is saying. So older men are to be influential. That simply means, guys, that we can't just retire and live life in comfort. We need to influence people around us. Our happiness depends on it. Their happiness depends on it. There is a lot at stake for older men to be the example, to be influential. What happens if a teenager says, Dad drinks, Grandpa drinks? What does that do? That's an excuse. Okay? Well, Grandpa's grumpy. Grandpa doesn't help me. You see, younger people do look to older people. And what we don't do, they don't want to do. What we do, they want to do as well. So, guys, it's really important that we realize the first thing, most important thing, is we must be a good influence on those around us, or everything else Titus isn't going to work. All right, you'll just undo everything he wants to say. Okay, now the second thing, number 2, the old men are to be temperate and self-controlled. I put those two together. Now, Titus separates them. One is number 2, one is number 4 in what he's saying, but I put them together because they are really related. First of all, the Greek word for temperate, what does that mean? That means not overindulging in what they put in their bodies. The Greek word means to infuse something into your body. Well, what kind of stuff do old men put in their bodies? Food? Alcohol? Just all kinds of, in this age, it's hard to believe, but like drugs people put in their bodies. So old men need to watch what they put in their bodies. Prescription drugs. We need to be careful what we put in our bodies because we need to be temperate. And then the second one he talks about that is related is we need to be self-controlled. We need to be self-controlled. And the Greek word for self-control means healthy or... Okay. We need to be healthy in our behavior. The Greek word here refers to the fact that God is watching us. And the behavior that we live needs to please Him. Needs to be agreeable to Him. Behavior that God respects. So, what Titus is saying to the old men, while other men on Crete were eating too much and drinking too much and focusing too much on money and pleasure and all of the other things, the older men in the church were to be healthy in what they put in their bodies, healthy in their behavior, so that they could be an influence. All right, you already saw where we're going. Here's the application. I can't take credit for this. The Preaching the Word commentary really does some excellent help here. And here's what it says. Older men need to be healthy in what they want to do and what they don't want to do. Guys, correct me if I'm wrong. There are some things you want to do. Older guys, am I right? Some things you want to do. There are some things you don't want to do. And you need to be healthy in both. So first of all, guys, we need to be healthy in what we want to do. As an old man, come to give you the list. In what we eat, I enjoy eating. Anybody else? I mean, that's where this comes from. We want to eat. All right. How about couch time? Sit on the couch. Yeah, we need to be healthy in that. How about complaining? Oh, guys, let's face it. We love to complain. How about giving advice? When I was your age. Okay. You know, working or hobbying or the vices that we want to do. Drinking, gambling, pornography. Guys, at our age, there are things we still want to do. The fire has not died in the oven or in the furnace. We need to be healthy in what we want to do. Now, we also need to be healthy in things we don't want to do but should. All kinds of things we don't want to do but should. Can I start with the top one? Exercise. Yeah. Gary, I want an amen from this guy. I mean, this guy, yeah. I mean, he wants to exercise. You're probably the only guy in the room that really wants to exercise. Okay. I want to exercise because the aches and pains when I don't are just terrible. Okay. So I want to exercise. Okay. And how about spiritual activities? We just kind of coast spiritually. Maybe be in Sunday school, maybe not. Maybe read our Bible, maybe not. Maybe go to iron sharpens iron, maybe not. You know, in the spiritual activities, we kind of take them, kind of put them on the back shelf. You know, we've done our time. I've had old men tell me that. I've done my time. Okay, how about this one? Serving in Vacation Bible School. In Awana, during the ushering things, doing the dishes around the house. How about serving? Being agreeable. Okay, old men don't need to be agreeable. Socializing, you sit home. We need to know what are and are not the real pleasures in life. And when you get old, it's real easy to confuse the two. Titus tells the older guys, this is really pleasurable, this is not. Okay, we're ready for number 3. Kind of flying through here, which is good. Okay, number 3. Old men are to be worthy of respect. This refers to the kind of behavior that God respects and that other people respect and that will influence other people. Behavior that brings respect. What Titus is saying is the other men on Crete may be lying, cheating, ignoring those in danger, proving themselves untrustworthy, not being worthy of respect. But Titus tells the older men of the church, the behavior that you exhibit needs to be respectful. It needs to influence other people around you for your happiness, for their happiness. So we need to be respectful in our behavior. Okay, guys, can we be honest? With age comes the tendency to say and do what we want. Do you agree with me? The older you get, I want to do and say what I want. When we were kids, we were people pleasers. We did what everybody expected. We did what they wanted. We did what made them happy. Now that we're older, no, sir, I'm going to say what I want. I'm going to do what I want. Who cares what they think? No, that's not how it works. We need to care about the influence that we have on other people. We need to care that we are respected. Not because we're people pleasers anymore, although I still am, but because of the influence we need to have on those around us. So the question is, old guys, what earns respect? What kind of behaviors can we do that will respect those who are looking at us so that we can be an influence to them? Kids, grandkids, whatever. Just the opposite of what people on Crete were doing. So first of all, run home to mama here. We need to be honest and truthful with people. What we say, what we do is honest and truthful. We need to be trustworthy. If we're going to say we're going to do something, we're going to do it. So we need to be trustworthy, and we need to help people in need. Guys, we've got lots of resources. We have more money than younger people. We've got experience younger people don't have. We can be a help to folks, and that will earn their respect, and we'll be able to influence them. Okay, you ready for the last one? Number 4. Okay, here we go. The fourth thing that older men need to be is we need to be sound ourselves. We need to be healthy. Notice in faith, love, and endurance. We ourselves need to be healthy. Now, guys, can we be honest? Older men tend to develop some unhealthy characteristics. It's the grumpy old man syndrome. And we all tend to fall into that. And it's not due to culture. Instead, it's due to age. It's due to age. Some spell check says it's okay. Male menopause. You know, ladies, when you go through menopause, sometimes you're not very nice to be around. Men, did you realize when you go through menopause, sometimes you're not very nice to be around? Here are some of the things. I went online. What causes this stuff? Yeah, this grumpy old man stuff. Where does that come from? Okay, the first one, slowing it down for the old people. Lower testosterone levels. Ain't it the truth? That messes with you. Okay, here's an, okay. The second one, aches and pains. Yeah, what doesn't ache doesn't work. Can't do what they used to do. Don't sleep well at night. Going to the bathroom all the time. The world is changing for the bad. Okay? These things wear on a man. And this is why it's so easy for us to become grumpy old men. I figured I need a little bit of a humor break here. You know who Statler and Waldorf on the Muppets are? The two old geezers up in the box, always being grumpy towards performers. I've got to show you a 3-minute clip that just perfectly illustrates how old men can be. Grumpy old men. Okay, let's have the lights here, Timothy. Yeah, when I turn them off up here. Okay, you got one more there? Okay.
I feel great. I really feel wonderful. I just got back from a pleasure trip. I took my mother-in-law to the airport. And while I was there... Funny! I heard about them. It's beginning. You're the two guys that I heard about that heckle from the box, aren't you? There they are, ladies and gentlemen. Get a look at them. Starsky and Crutch. Yeah, don't start with me, boys. Don't start with me, please.
Hey, Burl.
What?
You know what? I've just figured out your style.
Really?
You work like...
Ian?
Well?
Now, just a minute, please. I have been a successful comedian half of my life.
How come we got this half?
Look, did you come in here to be entertained or not?
That's right.
What's right?
We came in here to be entertained, and we're not.
Oh, yeah? I'd like to see you come down here and be funny.
You first.
The audience. Don't pay any attention to him, folks. He's the 9th child of a family of 8. Let me tell this story.
Hey, Burl.
Oh, yes, what is it? What is it?
You know what you're doing wrong?
What am I doing wrong?
You're standing too close to the audience.
Oh, yeah? Now, how's this?
You're still too close.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is this okay?
Yeah, a little more.
How far back do you want me to go?
You got a car?
Let me tell you something. If you don't stop, I'll have the usher throw you out.
He can't. He's too busy.
Doing what?
Keeping people in.
And you're encouraging them. That's what you're doing. You know, I got a good mind to punch you in your nose.
Please, not while I'm holding it.
That's pretty funny.
You can use it.
I can use it. I don't need your material, pal. I got a million funny lines in the back of my head.
Yeah, how come they never reach your mouth?
Gentlemen, will you please? Will you take it easy? Do you think I'm doing this for fun?
Not so far.
Oh, I see. You think you can do better?
I couldn't do worse.
All right. Okay. I dare you both to come down here and entertain.
We should.
Oh, yeah? Do you sing?
No.
Do you dance?
No?
Can you get laughs?
No.
Then what would you do?
Just what you're doing.
Okay, that's it. That's it. I'm going to call the police.
Good idea. You need all the protection you can get.
Why is that? Because that is life for a lot of people. We just get grumpy and cruel and things such as that. So what Titus was trying to tell the people is, while other men were being irritable and critical and set in their ways, they were supposed to be healthy old men, not grumpy old men. And then Titus tells the older men how to be healthy old men. Okay? Okay, so you can see this better. And this is really the antidote for becoming a grumpy old man, being healthy in these ways. So Paul tells Titus, be sure to tell the old men to be healthy in faith, love, and endurance. These are the things, if you work on these, you will be a healthy old man, an influential old man, rather than a grumpy old man. Okay, first of all, faith. What's he talking about? Faith is a strong relationship with God. We get close to him so that he can help us, he can teach us, he can correct us, he can put us to work, he can help us to be used in every area of life. It's the foundation for everything else. The second choice, we choose to be understanding, not critical, not stubborn. It's choosing to focus on other people and what they need and not focus on our problems. The second reason old men become grumpy old men is because they focus on their aches. Last one, we need to be healthy in endurance. That's simple. Yes, you have aches and pains. Yes, you don't sleep well. Yes to all of it. But endurance is based upon hope. You keep doing what you need to do because in people's lives. Guys, the day is coming when we will not be here. And for us older guys, that day is really, really rough. Have the opportunity to make a difference in people's lives. Close with a couple of questions. When you ask people in our culture, who has been the biggest influence in your life? Yes, people that you know who they normally say? It's normally a woman, isn't it? Well, my mom was, my grandmother was, a teacher was. Men, is that the way that it has to be? We are told that women are more nurturing, so of course they're going to be an influence. Is that really true? Is it true that we men don't have a chance to influence people's lives? Or is it true that we are missing something? We as men have been told what it's like to be a man, to be a happy man, and all the rest of that. And we have bought it at the cost of losing our influence. So guys, I think it's entirely possible for you to be the most influential person in somebody's life. It's not limited to a woman. It's limited to people who are influential. So guys, here's what I'm inviting you to do this morning. Okay, number one, do whatever it takes to be an influence. Don't give up that dream that you can influence your family, you can influence your kids, you can influence the world. Do everything you can to be an influence. And then be healthy in what you do and what you don't do. People are watching. Be healthy in what you do and what you don't do. And then earn respect, like we looked at doing. be healthy in faith, in love, and endurance. And for some of that, the first step is to invite Jesus to take over your life. Guys, it's a whole lot easier, it appears, for our wives and daughters to give their life to Jesus than it is for us. Something about being a man, we're stubborn, we're not going to do it. Is it ever too late for a man to say, Jesus, come into my life? Will you take over? Will you change me? Will you make me the way I want to be? If you've not done that, that's the first step to becoming the man that you need to be. Give your life to Jesus. He'll help you. And then secondly, you need to realize you need help from other men. The iron sharpens iron concept, which is where the conference gets its name. One man sharpens another. Guys, if you're not signed up for the conference, we've still got plenty of room. We've got 15 guys going, plenty of room for more. If you're not in a men's small group, we've got one on Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Saturday morning. Really, really helpful. I'm in 2 groups. What does that tell you? I need all the sharpening that I can get. Hey, let's stand and pray together. Heavenly Father, as old men, it's real easy to look at others and wonder what they're doing wrong. To look at the young people and wring our hands, what are they like today? Instead of realizing that we still have an influence. And Father, you've covered a lot of stuff with us today, and we've enjoyed the fun of it, but Father, help us. We need to get serious as older guys about doing what you want us to do, because nobody else will do what they want unless we step up and do what we should. So I pray you'll speak to the older men today. Help us to submit to your plan, particularly if we've never given our lives to Jesus, never asked him to forgive all of the past and to take charge of us now. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. My prayer is for me and my house.